Move that slightly. So, Mike, there were a couple players who were dealt before the trade deadline who could have filled maybe some need positions, pass rusher, et cetera. From talking to Chris, was your sense that he just didn't want to give up future draft picks for players who were available at this point?
No, there was a couple conversations we had, both about people reaching out to us and different possibilities, inward and outward. And I think the action was that there was no action. That in itself, I think I think we believe in the roster and want to see guys come through a tough time, and I think that's really what that was executed, and nothing more than that.
Where do things stand with Javon Holland and Cater Cole in the secondary?
They are working, and I pretty much think that Javon won't be practicing today. Cater will be involved, and we'll see how that goes through the week.
You versus Sean McVay, what comes to mind? You had time together with him in Washington, and also so many years competing in the NFC West while you were with San Francisco.
I think what comes to mind is I know Coach McVay and his team are always consistently a straining outfit that they do a good job in all three phases. I know he's going to make sure his group is very detailed, that they'll compete, they'll be challenging, and they'll be complementary in how they play, and they'll be unified in their collective groups. So I think it's a good team who's had some resolve themselves and is on a winning streak that you're going to have to beat them for them to lose, and they're not going to give you anything.
You guys have a new practice squad quarterback?
No, we do not. There's we've been discussing that. We're also pretty hopeful about Snoop's recovery, but as it stands, it will be Two and Skylar this week.
Mike, regarding Raheem, I know he's a heart and soul player, Pro Bowler. He's had a couple of fumbles. Is there a question whether he continues and you bring Jalen Wright in, or is he's still the man there?
No, I think that group. We try to give opportunities to each guy because they deserve it each and every game, and I think based upon his performance, Raheem got more attempts. I think it might have been his first touch was on a 3rd and 11 that he inflicted force on the defense, and you earn more touches that way. That being said, he knows he has to hold on to the ball. I think that's we've learned how vital those turnovers can be, especially in a one-score game. So I think he himself would be the first to tell you that we're at this time we've learned 2 hard lessons. So he's you can't really be in the whole scope of all right, well, there's another lesson that needs to be had when there's other guys that aren't turning the ball over. So, but that's the nature of football, and when you have a group that is talented like they are and competitive, you have to give reason and keep that for all your touches, and he's earned there's been about 400 touches that he hasn't fumbled on, and but that being said, what only matters is this next game, and he is putting full focus on making sure that ball stays with him.
2 through 3 incompletions last week. What's the message to your quarterback after you guys obviously lose, but he played very well enough for you guys to win. So what is the focus in terms of improvement for him?
No, I think you don't. I'm careful not to have overarching that was good or that was bad. For me, my job is to coach and to detail each and every snap. So whether or not his handoff was at his first step was at 3 o'clock and not 4 o'clock. Whether or not your progression was too fast or you handled inappropriate or appropriate protection, all of those things. So the first thing Tua did the day after the game is come to my office and say, what could I have done to win this game? And so then of those snaps, you go through his plays, and what if you put the ball here? You did this. He's trying to be great. He's not trying to relieve himself of burden or stress. If he as a quarterback, he looks at it like the stat that is next to his name is the win or loss. So when you lose, what could I have done better? And I think that's as the franchise quarterback, you need him to be that way if you're going to expect others to be that way. So I think the message is coaching, just like some of his best games, some of the most valuable coaching moments come up, and there's positives when he has an overall statistically poor performance sometimes as well. It's just important that you stay even keel and attack each and every rep so that guys truly get value out of a coach.
With Alec Ingold, another heart and soul guy, it seemed to me after the Jalen Ramsey interception, he starts limping on that calf. He plays the rest of the game, blocks excellently. What can you say about the effort that he gave, and how is his availability this week?
Well, I think no coincidence that a fullback has a C on his chest, and I think he's earned that through daily investment into the team and his play, and I think it says the world about who he is, and everyone knows that every teammate is responsible to protect Alec from himself when it comes to sacrifice for the team, and I think he's an unbelievably valuable player on our team, and so we'll just always be aggressive with him in terms of our management, because he would be if his leg didn't work, he'd be hopping. You know what I mean? So I think that's important to know your personnel and to cater to that. And he's in a situation where he will do anything and everything, which is why he's a captain and a leader of this team.
Mike, last year, Tua and Tyreek combined for 30 catches of 25 yards or more. This year so far, it's only been 5. Obviously, Tua missed 4 games. Mm-hmm. In addition to the return of Tua and Tua's availability, what are some other reasons for optimism in the second half of the season that we'll see more big gain plays?
Well, I think it's before the results, or before the statistical results. Like from my vantage point, I'm coaching guys on technique and fundamentals and how they're playing the position. I'm not addressing what coverage people are running or what they're trying to take away or anything. I'm watching their game, and I can honestly say that the two of them, in terms of route running and timing and connectivity, there's been growth over the entire season, and there's been different challenges presented based upon three full games that they've had, and I think the biggest thing is that you haven't seen Tyreek Hill wide open and Tua missing him or missing a throw, or like their timing and their fundamentals is what will produce the results when when the defense is giving us the opportunity. I think it's important in football. Defenses have really taken notice of those explosive plays, and they've tried to prevent them by basically doubling him. And I think as a result, it's forced a lot of the offense to get better. It's forced Tua to get on the same page with a lot of other eligibles, and it's forced our offensive line to block and our runners to run, and Tyreek to run block a little bit. And you do that, and you have to understand that in team football, if you're getting double teamed, there's a teammate of yours that stands for a lot of reason for success. So I think their game, as from technique and fundamentals, has seen growth this year, and I think they did execute on 2 opportunities this past game, and that's what I'm most concerned with, is that guys their game is developing within whatever trials and tribulations they're going through. I thought Tyreek's had his best game releasing off of press coverage, and little things like that is what I prioritize.
Mike, I wanted to ask you, this team is seemingly running out of track in terms of to achieve the ultimate goal for what you guys began the season with, or the expectations. What should make Dolphin fans confident that this franchise is headed in the right direction based on what they've seen so far in the early portion of the season?
I understand the question. It's very valid. I think from my vantage point, I'm responsible for all things. I'm also the guy that the players lean on for football expertise and talking to them about their game and staying true to the most vital thing that I know to be true in any season, is that there's sometimes false hope where you're saying you're close, or you're saying things will get better. I live in real hope, which is, how are people's games getting better? Are we getting better? Does that mean it's up to standard, or that losses are acceptable? Absolutely not. But vital to football teams having success in any NFL season is that they master that the art of getting better in the noise, and don't confuse noise with just losing. Noise is also, it's very loud when you're winning, and sometimes you can have that. You could be sitting at 6-2, and if the ball isn't getting better through all the noise, I don't have real hope. My hope is real because the football that I'm watching and detailing is improving, and I think the team is focused on trying to have a game where they feel like their brand of football was mastered. And I think the football team knows that when that occurs, things will take care of themselves in the win column. But more than anything, I think, I've said it before, I don't, it's not easy having no control but full investment. And if you're a fan, today's miserable like the day before, until you have a win, right? Today is the most important day of our season, of our lives, because we have work that can dictate the terms of what everybody wants. And as long as I see guys in whatever noise continue to embrace and take their individual efforts and their collective efforts to another level to get it right, I think that's what gives me absolute hope and and vigor with this team, because that is real too. I think guys are determined, and I think they know that they while each individual can't control whether or not it's a win or a loss, they can control how they are working to individually and collectively. And today will be the first day on the field with that, as we progress through the week, and hopefully dictate what happens on Monday a little bit on Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it is.
Mike, at what point, I understand what you're saying about improving, and it needs to happen, obviously, week to week, but at what point does merely improving not become enough? At what point do you have to get the results in order to get where you want to go and make the playoffs?
Well, I mean, ultimately, the game is about winning. So I'm not saying that that is ultimately how you're judged, and I think that's fair, and you tirelessly work at not obsessing about, hey, the idea of, or the false sense of, hey, we're going to win this week. No, what are you going to do about it? And what is today, like, how are you going to affect the change? We've had a lot of hard conversations that ultimately have been very necessary. And in that process, you have to, ultimately you have to win this league. And so, but you have to take care of your business through the entirety of the preparation, coaches and players included. And then, ultimately you do have to win football games, or, that's the whole idea. So we're working to improve that.
David Long, a team captain, lost his starting job. How tough of a decision was that? What went into it, and what kind of message does that send to the rest of the team?
I mean, yeah, that I have the utmost respect for David Long as a man, as a player, and I think the important piece of it was that it was less about David Long not doing something, and more about we felt like Walk needed and deserved the opportunity, and has skills of his own in his own right that were the best man for the job. But that's never easy, especially when you care for a human being. We've gone to battle a lot together. So those are things that that in the position it's not necessarily fun, but the whole team and organization is depending on you to try to do what you see as very best. And I think David respects that and regards that. He may, I'm sure he disagrees, but it's about understanding intent. I think the whole team loves David. That's why they voted him captain. But also you have to, I think it was the football team was also excited for Walk's opportunity, which he made the most of, for sure.
Chubb, do we have a possibility that Chubb could practice this week, or is that not the window not open yet?
Yeah, I wasn't seeing it this week, but I'll be sure to convey it the week that I'm seeing it, because I appreciate you guys' patience. But he's doing good, and we're just trying to be prudent to his body, and he's working his way.
And Cameron Gooden and Isaiah Wynn not close?
No, I think both Isaiah and Cam are getting closer, for sure. I would say, I don't know the timelines I usually use, but week to week, or kind of that issue.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mike.